But let's go back to King James III, who was supposed to be a tyrant. But as we know, many people in history, we can't be entirely sure who was the tyrant and who wasn't, especially since he was a Catholic, and Catholics, to this day, their behaviour at the time have been heavily condemned. So, what we do know is that James III and his firstborn, James IV, had a very bad relationship. The reasons for this are alleged to be because of a prophecy. On the lead up to James IV's birth, in the weeks leading up to his birth, a comet has been seen in the sky, a red comet. And to people that studied the sky, it could be good, it could be bad, but witches were said to have prophesied that this would mean the downfall of James III via his own kin. It said that James IV had no idea why his father didn't like him or didn't bond with him. But once again, we're only given the information that we're given, and we don't know what the complete truth is on that front. Eventually, what would become King James IV as a young boy, he must have been, before he was 10 years old, shall we say, his two uncles rise up against his father, James III. One of the uncles is suspiciously killed, the other falls, and now we see this gap where the prophecy is leading up to truth, where James IV is leading up to a pitched battle with his father, James III. So, in the month of June 1488, father and son came to blows. The Battle of Sockyburn, excuse my English pronunciation, was where we saw father killed by son. But stories differ as to how James III actually died. Some say he was killed in battle, some say he was a coward that fled. Those that say he fled, the story goes as follows. He fled to a village, a nearby village, and a woman who was walking down the street dropped a pot which stunned his horse, which caused him to fall from his horse, further injuring him. He was then taken by a villager, once convincing the villager that he was the king, to a private residence in the village. The villager's wife was then asked by the king to go out and find him a priest, in case he was going to die, or maybe just to bless him so that he would come back from this situation somehow. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is? So the lady goes out into the street and starts asking strangers if they know where she can find a priest to take to the man saying he's the king. So eventually she stumbles across a stranger, and the stranger says, "Who do you need a priest for?" And she says, "Well, we've got the king, we've got the injured king in our house. He's asking for a priest." And the stranger says, "All right, I'll come and have a look." So the stranger follows her to the house. He might have himself pretended to be a religious figurehead. And he's got into the house and he's addressed the king, and he said to the king, "Do you think you'll survive?" He said that yes, he would survive, but he still needs a priest. So the man, the stranger, who was not next of kin, despite the prophecies, then stabbed the king to death. We don't know if that's true or whether the king actually died in the battlefield, but either way, the next day, after that battle in 1488, we got King James IV. The father had fallen to the son. So it looks like the witches were right all along.